Uh. Uh. Hmm? Hmm? Okay, cool. Hmm? Okay, cool. Unless, oh yeah, so I'm echoing now. Hmm? Okay, cool. Yeah, right, that's dealt with now. Fuck. Glad I noticed that now, motherfucker. Hmm. Alright, so, share this in a few places. You guys can hear me in my fucking headphones. That's got to be at least a little annoying. I like bumped something and now it's got this big ass fucking whirr. There we go. Hey, Jester. I'm trying to see if I can figure out what the fucking thing is. Maybe just like bash that around a little. Alright, well, whatever. I guess it's just gonna have a low hum for the whole fucking recording. Alright. Maybe it's just because I consistently have the volume turned up all the fucking way that I can hear this. Alright. Post. Oh shit. There we go. Alright. And there. There. Here. Hello, Valor. Fucking stream is gonna be under an hour today, but it is gonna be, I think, good. Jester says, I've been watching Zerkalo's Twitter arguing. It's so funny. Yeah, well, I'm just waiting for people to fully jump on board with this person getting like all the fucking government, like, I'm not sure what pronouns this person likes to go by, but if I understand, Zerkalo is like intersex. I was never informed of that, and I always just referred to Zerkalo as he. Because that's what I fucking. But whatever. Point is that, like, I'll just say they, for the purpose of safety here. Um, they like, um, they need the government they ordered. Like, so many years, they hung out in authoritarian circles and promoted authoritarianism, and they literally admitted to being a paid snitch for the U.S. government on Occupy and Antifa circles. So if they got, like, snitched out, I wouldn't fucking care. A snitch getting snitched? Fine. Okay, he, him. Alright. So I haven't been fucking up this whole time. Because, trans people can have predatory people too. Even though the vast majority of them aren't, and you'll find more in heterosexual circles and non trans circles. You'll see a lot more in those circles, but the only one a lot of these anti-grooming accounts want to go against is fucking trans people. So I don't want to, like, play into that stereotype, but they can have them too. Jester says, I can't stay quiet about it. It's so fucking insane. Yeah. So, I'm just hoping they get a little bit of that government they ordered. They spent some time, well, he spent some time snitching. And now, it's people's opportunity to show him what that looks like. Especially since the difference between that and this is that he snitched on a bunch of anti-fascists, and this will be snitching on a pedo-fascist. Valor is praying for Zerkalo. Yeah. Apple, protein pancake, and fucking protein shake over here. This is sort of like halfway between two workouts. One of them was just to make sure that I had good blood flow and got some of the muscles that I won't be hitting in an hour, because I'm now physically training the housemate. So the last one sort of bailed, the last housemate who wanted me to physically train him. So we'll see if this one doesn't bail. I hope not. Jester says, Els got him pregnant, then he had a miscarriage. I had to witness the whole thing. Ah. Mm-hmm. Valor says he reported a Twitter account with a slur in its name, and Twitter had zero problem with it. Yep. Well, Kant, which, by the way, hello, Kant. Kant Lonathu says he's tired and he has no idea what's going on. Well, what's going on is there's a groomer on Telegram and a bunch of other places, and he like got with a 17-year-old and apparently got pregnant at like 34, I think, and miscarried because he's intersex. I didn't see 051's response. No. Yeah, like, Jester, feel free to just alert authorities, man. Like, if these people have no problem with snitching to the authorities and no problem with like taking advantage of vulnerable people exploiting power differentials, I don't fucking see a problem. Just aggressors getting aggressed. I don't think it's legal where Els lives. This is Arizona we're talking about, right? Let me look up the laws here. Because I don't think it's legal. I'm gonna do this in a fucking Tor window. Oh, where is this then? Feel free to let me know. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna dox somebody, so definitely don't give me an address. But I'm 100% sure, like, if you DM me whatever state this is, I'm 100% sure it's not legal. And it's certainly not ethical. No way. Like, absolutely no way that this is ethical, legal, or anything. Let me and I'll check both actually, because I mean, if you're giving me that state, then I can just check two different states. Control Shift N. Did I get scared by the alarm? No. I didn't care. I saw about it before that anyway. I don't get it's an alarm. I'm not ever really concerned about that alarm because it's never affected me in any way. So, New Jersey. I'm doing this in a motherfucking Tor window. I don't want this anywhere near my IP address or my fucking... I like how, if this is true, there's a whole site called Prevent Child Abuse NJ that's... Alright. 16-year-old can consent to have sex with a person of any age, as long as the following exceptions are not present. Motherfucker, that's a depressing sentence to read. Commercial sex. Those under the age of 18 who are involved in commercial sex are considered victims of sex trafficking, even if the blah blah. Someone of authority. Those under the age of 18 cannot legally consent to anyone who has authority over them. Examples include family members, those in supervisory roles, coaches, teachers, religious leaders, group home staff, babysitters, etc. God, the fact that they have to list all of those things, but like that still leaves just so many people. Like, if it's not okay with those people, you have to acknowledge that the age differential isn't the age differential is included in a power differential. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a problem. Drugs and alcohol. Levels of impairment can be subjective. Fuck you. What the hell is this site? Okay. This sucks, but if that is true, the NJ thing, then yeah, I mean, I guess it's legal where they are. I doubt that's true, though. Like, I seem to remember Arizona being in some sort of, like, public fucking information shit. Well, I'll check that, Kant. Kant says subjective based on weight and other physical factors. That's probably what it means in regard to intoxication. Levels, okay, talk with your youth. God, it's just, if you're gonna call them a youth, don't say that they can consent. Motherfucker. Youth is just a different way of saying kid. Just sputter at the camera. A good point of reference might be, at what point do you start to feel different than normal? So just drink normally, I guess? So that it won't be a difference? Motherfucker. Okay, well, there it goes then. Yeah, I guess it's legal. 16-year-olds are children. It's still unethical. It's still pedophilia. I don't fucking care. Also, I just got a Phoebe notification, so let me go check that quick. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. See, it sucks. I hate, and the site is called Prevent Child Abuse. How about we prevent child abuse by calling 16-year-olds children and saying that children can't consent? Man. Just poverty. Poverty in terms of, like, ethics. Fucking what's legal and what isn't. Yeah, I just read the first sentence, and he says it's worse than I thought. I read the first sentence, and I knew it was bullshit immediately. There's no way that you can finish that sentence that's awesome. Like, feeling different than normal, after one shot, if you're not used to it, you're gonna feel different than normal. After one beer, you're gonna feel different than normal. The whole point of fucking alcohol is that you feel different than normal. What is this site, actually? I'm gonna check what this site is. I'm getting bad vibes. Child Wellness Institute Community Education Connections Matter Enough Abuse Campaign. You gotta love it when a site operates exclusively on stock images. Like, you didn't need to get anybody who actually, like, supports what you do to take a picture. You just found stock images. A charity which can't, like, post success stories, can't post their dubs. Like, this might be a fine site. That's just a shit-ass PDF that they have on Age of Consent. Because ain't no way they were, like, seriously okay with some of the points they were making. Motherfuckers should go through me. Like, you know, fucking $50 a pop, I'll edit your PDFs like this. Press releases and op-eds, press coverage. Let's see what the news says about them. Their last fucking press coverage was in 2019. Did they just fall off the fucking map? What the hell is this? It's got 4 stars from Charity Navigator and Platinum Transparency 2023 from Candid, but it hasn't posted a dub in 5 years. Sorry, 4 years. And then their press releases and op-eds. What do you got for me here? When's the latest? Okay, so they had one dub that they posted last June. Not even this last June, but like the June of 2022. These motherfuckers need to work on their shit. Like, how badly do you have to do as an organization to only post one dub every like 6 months? Because that's what I'm seeing. It's like June 13th, 2022, Jan 24, 2022, August 3rd, 2021, fucking June 30th, 2021. At least they were more frequent in fucking 2021. But that's a real bad sign that they're just sort of dwindling out. I wonder if it's due to lack of funding or the fact that somebody got, like, uncovered abuse, blah, blah. That would be interesting. I'm gonna check this out here, actually. Prevent Child Abuse NJ Scandal. You can usually find some sort of T by including the word scandal. Alright. Google's probably going to block me because I'm using Tor. Even though I complete their dumb reCAPTCHA. I think that the upper right one here is in Spokane. Kind of looks like Hilliard. In fact, a lot of these look like Spokane. I wonder if it's like targeting me somehow. I'm using a Tor window. It shouldn't know where I am. Whatever. No, I got all the buses, bitch. This is one of the times when, like, because I'm not sharing my screen, it's gonna look like I'm just on some schizo rant. You can't say schizo. That's ableism or something. I'm schizoaffective. I've got the bipolar type that is that. So ease up off my ball sack about that. That was like 8 different accents in one. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with them. They're just slow. I think JavaScript is just disabled by default in Brave. Also, hello, Libermer. But yeah, I mean, either way, whether or not it's legal, it's still fucked. 16-year-olds should not be fucking 34-year-olds. That seems relatively cut and dried to me. And the fact that they're like a day over 16 doesn't make them like any much more or less vulnerable than they were when they were 15, which was the prime age range for Epstein's victims. So it's like, what the fuck, New Jersey? Why are you behind the times, and why are you enabling people like Epstein? You know? Why are you fucking doing that? Shut the fuck up, New Jersey. You don't care about fucking consent. Don't call them age of consent laws. Fuck. LeBarimer says, posted an article in general about a lawsuit over prisoner medical rights. What's your take? Let me check. I'll share this screen. Pop open a new window here. All right. So, we have whenever I read this state name, I always think of that woman who's like pissed at Arkansas for not being pronounced right. She's like, this is called Kansas, but this is not called Arkansas. What do you mean? Fucking, it's excellent. It's so fucking good. It fucked me up the first time, and it always puts at least a little smile on my face. All right. Whoa, that zoomed in way too much. See if I can. Maybe this one was the one that it was supposed to be. Nope. Alright, well, I'll just have to fucking blow this open. Alright. There we go. This is the kind of technical issue you can come to expect on this channel. This is high quality entertainment, watching me fucking boomer around with OBS. Yeah, let's just blow this up a little more. And I thought I handled this last time, but I guess fucking not. Alright. Unless it just resets every time for no fucking reason. Anyway. Now that I've fucking solved that problem. Arkansas jail inmates settle lawsuit with doctor who prescribed them ivermectin for COVID-19. Okay, so Little Rock. 5 former inmates at an Arkansas county jail have settled their lawsuit against a doctor who they said gave them the anti-parasitic drug blah 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 blah. Dismissed the 2022 lawsuit, who was the doctor for the Washington County Jail and had administered the drug to treat COVID, citing the settlement. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved ivermectin blah blah. This is bullshit. It's been, like, the studies are out now. It's been vindicated. The inmates said they were never told ivermectin was among the medications they had been given to treat their COVID-19 infections, and instead told they were being given vitamins. Alright, so the article is bullshit because it's basically doing the effect of, like, horse paste. And that's bullshit. It's not horse paste. It's like literally a human drug for humans. But don't give people shit without their consent. That's my take, I guess. That's my take in a nutshell. Because, like, yeah, I mean, don't slip people mickeys of things that they didn't consent to. And also don't force vaccinate prisoners either. Obviously. Don't force people to make medical decisions. That's a good way to have fucking unethical experimentation. Alright. Hello, Rad Hominem. If nations are to or should be judged on how they treat their most vulnerable, incarcerated citizens have to be among the top of that list. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Because they can't make a fucking choice. Yo, it's like, if you have to experiment on prisoners, you probably don't have a good experiment. You know? If you can't get people to voluntarily consent to that shit. Liberimer, I don't give a shit about the ivermectin. What I notice, though, is like in jails, they are able to just give prisoners whatever they want. The fuck can an inmate do to resist or assert any agency? Yeah. Yeah, basically. Liberimer said we could just experiment on chomos instead. Yeah, the pedopharma pipeline. Although, if there is any sort of like biological component to that, it might skew the studies. So there is that too. But it would certainly probably be closer biologically anyway to like a human than a rat or a pig or whatever. So that's what they really got Epstein out for. They're like, well, just let us do some medical experiments on you for a few years, and then we'll give you this money we pulled out of your account after you fucking kicked the bucket, even though you didn't. I guarantee you the reason his bank account activated after he died and that withdrawal happened was because he's still alive, and that was his little golden parachute so that he could flee to like Nicaragua or something. Fucking guarantee it. Guarantee it, yo. Epstein is still alive. Alright, and also, JP Morgan Chase recently, they did this settlement with the families of like the families of Epstein victims, and they've previously also done like I think settlements based on the fact that they fucking helped the Nazis hide and raise their money. JP Morgan Chase is a Nazi enabling pedo factory, and they just had to file some settlements for it. They didn't have to admit any wrongdoing, change any operational procedures. They just had to fucking, whoopsie, here's some hush money, shut the fuck up, or else. That's what JP Morgan Chase did. In exchange for being Nazi pedo enablers. Isn't that fucking insane? Like, they got money, literally, to help the Nazis target Jewish accounts. I didn't see that this synod on synodality started, but, I mean, yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the fucking Catholic community responds to shit. Also, Rad Hominem, in case this is your first jaunt onto the channel, welcome to my weird schizoid, fucking hell chamber. I got some some conspiracy theories. I've got news. I've got long-winded rants. And I'm assuming I know who this is, but I'm not going to blow your name anywhere. In case that is the case. But if it is, then I think we can both agree, fuck those Nazis. So. Liberimer, I think it would be funny as hell if the U.S. Catholic Church schisms over this. That it would. That it would. Like, oh no, you're being too reasonable and empathetic. We can't have that in our Catholic Church. We've gotta just, support the local fucking rapists and make sure that the corruption still flows through and be a huge beacon for politicians who want to hide their money. But, we got to keep our integrity. So none of them gays. Don't pay no attention to the fact that the Catholic Church was just found to have intentionally and knowingly funded Nazi Germany. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain or what he's doing under his robe. We're fucking fine. We're Catholics. Don't judge us, or we'll fuck you up, because the Vatican has a huge amount of money in real estate. I didn't hear about the Methodists fucking schisming over that, but probably. Oh, you know what? No, I did hear about that. Yes, they are. Man, it's all just happening at once. Every church is just like, man, if you like rainbow flags, I can't have you anymore. Fuck me, dude. Like, the love of Christ doesn't extend to every being. And, like, excluding people from your church is going to be the way to get them to support your view of religion. Sure. Let's support that idea instead of just fucking the Bible. Sure. Liberimer says, but Pope Francis is too liberal for the tradcats. Yeah, well, also the fact that they're not tradcats, because, like, their traditions are all just wrapped up in fucking ecumenical politics, which means that the traditions change routinely. They're not sola scriptura. They're not following to a strict adherence of tradition. Some dude could, like, jack off one day and find a divine revelation in his cum, and, like, suddenly that's new papal law. Like, it's fucking not that rigid. Like, tradcath is almost a contradiction in terms. Not sure having intercourse with the Bible is a recommended practice. If you do, let me know how that goes, because if those rolling papers, if those pages are, like, smooth enough for rolling papers, I don't know, maybe they're jelly-like. New method? Rad Hominem says, I meet my savior nightly. His name is Jack Daniels. Well, as we all know, I have my own version of religion, so just watches me on my fucking desk. Liberimer says, I don't even really have a problem with them saying that queerness is sinful because read the Bible or whatever, but they don't kick out, like, every sinner, just only the gays. Yeah! Dude, if they had, like, a purge of every, like, repeat sinner, holy shit. Holy shit. Imagine the amount of people who would just stop confessing. If everybody got treated the same, it would just have this chilling effect, especially since it's like You're supposed to be coming in here to talk to God, not to have some sort of like interface with a human who then says, nah, you can't come to our house of worship unless you do everything right, and ignore all the people in charge who aren't doing everything right. It's fucking painfully dumb. Man, it sucks. Hello, Earth. Liberimer says Catholics reject sola scriptura because the Bible is viewed as a document that the church made, so the church's authority is where the Bible comes from. Yeah, but also the church didn't make the Bible, the church just compiled the Bible. So it's like, it's one of those instances where you have to question their motive. And I question their motive through the lens of an anarchist power structure like analysis. And to me, if you're not going to give any authority to the books you're allegedly citing, the letters to the churches, the personal anecdotes, the accounts and shit, all this shit, if the Bible isn't good enough, tell me exactly where you get the idea that any of this is true to begin with. I just feel like if you're going to question the root foundations of your shit, maybe it's not that strong. Like, even in Islamic tradition, they say, yeah, there's a certain amount of like truth in the root scriptures. And then like there are so many like accompanying books and shit that are just like the opinions of further scholars. And you don't have to follow literally everything in all of these accompanying literatures in order to be a Muslim. You're just a sect of Muslim or a type of Muslim. Like, even they're willing to admit certain amounts of it has some fucking leeway, some wiggle room. But like they still have foundational and irrevocable truths at the root of their beliefs. So for like the Protestants make so much more fucking sense. The ones who are sola scriptura make so much more sense to me than people who aren't, because it's like, really? You're gonna tell me that I have to have faith because the Bible tells me X, Y, and Z, because this is the divinely inspired work of God, but then you're going to tell me that the Bible might be wrong and we'll figure it out later? We'll come to another revision, we'll download the latest DLC? What? How does that make any fucking sense? It doesn't. Just in case anybody... And then, like, you really have to say, well, the true sola scriptura was the original translations. And if you're going to go with those original translations, you have to find something closer to it. And when you get there, you realize that King James was a king, and he used his authority to mistranslate it on purpose in order to enforce his very rigid worldviews. And it's like, man, suddenly this seems like a control mechanism and not really a religion. You know? Yeah, Liberimer says, also, when did the Catholic Church child sex abuse scandal become just the priests are gay? Yeah. And especially since it's not just, like, gay shit. There's plenty of advantageous actions taken toward other sorts of minors, and pretending otherwise is dumb. But they have to be dumb in order to be bigoted, so, well... Liberimer says, they think the Bible needs to be interpreted through the lens of the church and with the Holy See, which is infallible. Just trying to explain Tradcathery since I used to be one after all. Yeah. I mean, you can explain it. You know, it's sort of like, you know, Sonic lore. Some of it makes complete sense and some of it doesn't. Like, how he can have had multiple birthdays and he was 16 in the Genesis manuals and then 15 later. It's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. We'll make our own lore. It's like that. Because I'm disrespectful. Rad hominem. the church was Rome's evolution in order to survive was something I heard recently that I found interesting. Yeah, basically. They have Rome's riches, perhaps they took the authoritarianism. Yeah, see, and that's fucking, like, see, I make this point so many times when talking about this subject. It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven is not something you can read from a gilded palace with a crown with jewels on it. You know, it's just not possible to be in this encrusted fucking kingly environment being like, you know, all fucking regal and shit, acting like an authority figure, and then say you can't follow two masters. It doesn't make any sense to have an order of, like, you know, highly, like, politicized people running around and enforcing Catholic dogma and then say, we are not of this world. It's not possible to have vaults and vaults of treasures like the fucking Vatican and Catholic properties do, and then say you're not stacking for yourselves treasures on earth. They just don't follow Christ that well. But they do follow authoritarianism. They got that model down fucking pat. Fuck. Or look at the catechisms. Kant says. Yeah, basically. And Liberimer says the catechisms aren't dogma, Kino, that's doctrine. Kant says yes, but they have some of the dogmas there if I remember correctly. Valor says many reasons I'm not Catholic, lol. Yeah. Liberimer, catechisms aren't infallible and can be changed. Pope Francis, for example, wrote in the recent catechisms that the death penalty is wrong. Previous catechisms defended capital punishment. You won't see that with dogma. Yeah, and also, isn't that something funny? How Christians can support the death penalty and be pro-life, and also how they can support the death penalty and also say don't live by the sword. You know, like follow a god that even healed the ear of the Roman soldier who was about to give him the death penalty. It's like maybe these are messages to not fucking do that. It's like not even the ear should be taken. Maybe not even the life should be taken. Wow. Ooh, shit. Man. Can't have that though. Because if we lose the death penalty on those ethical grounds, we lose a whole lot more authoritarianism with it. There we go. Pancake crumbs addressed. Liberimer says the Pope in Latin takes the title Pontifex Maximus. He sort of appropriated that title for himself. Originally, though, back in the Republican period, the Pontifex Maximus was a political office. The Pontifex Maximus was the chief priest of Rome and had the ultimate authority over the Roman religion and served for life and was elected by popular vote. Julius Caesar was a Pontifex Maximus. Kant says Christians weren't against abortion in the U.S. besides the Catholics until relatively recently in the mid or early 1900s, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, that sounds about right, if I remember correctly. Yeah. It's a protein shake made of oatmeal, pea protein, and a small amount of coffee creamer. Yeah! It's exactly that. Rad Hominem says, getting some weird connections to how the U.S. Constitution is treated in some circles. Yeah, it's a living document. We can't just stick to the original because it wasn't good enough. It's a living document that needs to be consistently amended, but we'll only go so far as to our certain amendments we want to go back to. Like, we want to keep the Bill of Rights so that we can keep our, like, our guns and our freedom of speech and our Fourth and Fifth Amendment, no search and seizure, and I don't answer questions. And then, after we get done with all that, we're going to come down back to, well, what else should we allow in the amendments? Slaves? Women voting? Oh. Man, you know what? I'm not that much of an originalist, am I? It gets to the point where it's like they're all just arguing for the perfect version of the software, but none of them are at the zero build. None of them. They're all just in different sects of constitutionalism. Yeah. LeBarimer says, well, they are all fine with people being insecure in their persons as long as they're trans. Yeah. You know? And certainly not, like, ability to express yourself. The First Amendment shouldn't be allowed for trans if you're trying to eradicate them from public life. And that's what Michael Knowles and the Daily Wire and all those cunts want. They want to eradicate transgenderism from public life, which means you have to control the public life, which means you have to stop the First Amendment, because as long as there's freedom of speech, these people are going to say it. These people are going to express themselves. But somehow, these are the free speech people, because when they say free speech, it totally doesn't just mean I get to say my fascist, unhinged, and often unintelligent bullshit on social media without getting banned. It's I get to tell you what to do. I get to stop you from saying what I don't want you to say. That's free speech. Fuck it. You know? Kant says zero bill doesn't really exist in all honesty, at least in modern times. Early Christianity before the councils are a mix of many things. That's true. You could go 0 day on the Constitution, though, if you didn't have the Constitution and just had the Magna Carta. You know? Or the Articles of Confederation. You know? There's a lot of things that we could go back to before even the Constitution. But a lot of these people are like, yeah, I want the Constitution before all this shit they did with it. And it's like, do you really, though? Do you really hate the Bill of Rights that much? And they're like, oh, damn, I made an unnuanced statement. Let me double down and call you a communist. Or some shit. That's how it usually goes. Liberimer says, a court in Wisconsin just ruled that it violated parents' rights for a school to not inform parents of a child socially transitioning. What's your take? My take is that parents don't have the right to their kids' information. A kid should be able to think and feel and believe what they want, and parents trying to control that is a form of abuse. If your kid is going to hurt somebody, sure, stopping them makes sense. If your kid wants to experiment around and see if they're more comfortable with female expression, and you try to stop that, you hate freedom, and I hope you lose it. The judge put an injunction on the school's policy to use preferred pronouns and names, and also to not inform parents without the child's consent. Wow, it's such a bad thing for kids to be treated the way they want to, when a parent would rather have total control and act like it's a parent's rights thing to ignore their rights of the child. Yeah, no, that argument doesn't really hold water. Sorry, I should speak Wisconsinese. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Of course, that's more Minnesota than Wisconsin, but it's still Midwestern-y. I don't know. I'm trying here. Rad Hominem says, I have a lot of questions about that Wisconsin case just mentioned, like why the fuck should a school be involved in telling parents what they should already be aware of? I say that in meaning good parents should have open communication. Yeah, but if a parent isn't good, you know, their kid is not going to tell them everything because little Billy's going to get the brakes beat off him if he tells them he's bi or trans or something. So he doesn't say that around them because he doesn't want to get the shit beat out of him, you know? And so most parents are way behind the times, especially since, and here's where I get controversial, parents are letting devices and other adults run their kids' lives and raise them. And that is the cause of a huge amount of the issues that we see in modern society. The fact that devices and megacorporations and all this shit and alternate parents are raising children and not the actual parents themselves, who take a hands-off policy and get irritated when the kid doesn't just do what they say. It's authoritarianism by proxy. And while that's happening, while this social rot is occurring, these parents then try to claim that they have rights to certain things, but really they will stymie any attempt to make it easier to parent without the assistance of these devices and secondary babysitters and shit. And they'll do that because they like freedom and free markets, but really it doesn't cause free markets at all or free anyone ever. And the result of this is the fact that we have a more subservient and more sedentary population than ever because they are raised by devices that are controlled by megacorporations and governments that want them weak. And so these people then seek strength through the systems that these people claim are making people less free and claim are violating their parental rights. And so these people are creating the structures and the systems by which they lose their rights and then complaining about it. And then they wonder why I just want to laugh at them. Maybe it's because you're fucking laughable. Conservacuck parent who isn't really parenting your kid. Here, Timmy, here's your fucking iPad. Watch fucking Troom on YouTube. Just for the YouTube censors, I was trying to remember the channel name. I wasn't trying to use the slur. Just watch fucking Troom or, you know, Coco Melon or, you know, any number of other, like, swill that gribbles up on YouTube Kids. You know? And we wonder why certain attention span issues exist. Rad Hominem says, I don't disagree with that sentiment. I was raised by sports coaches or grandparents because my parents were stuck working mandatory OT hours. Yeah, and I bet they're not opponents of the capitalist structure either. And that's one of the reasons that you sidled into the line of work you're in, if I were to guess. I mean, I don't know, just to be clear. I don't know your life that intimately, but I would guess that that's one of the reasons that you sidled into that, because you still had some things in your brain that thought maybe I'll be doing something good with my life, something noble. You know? And now you're figuring out, hey, damn, this was the opposite of noble, and now I'm just trying to break even, make do. Get out alive. Jester Kitty says, I was half raised by YouTube. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Because YouTube is a better source of information than a lot of parents who aren't parenting at all. Valor says, why are you pointing a gun at us? This is a stick-up. Our freedom or your life. Fucking Rage Against the Machine quote. So yeah, that's I guess my rant of the day. Don't demand that the school system help you pry into a kid's life that you're trying to control. Instead, be a better human being so your child wants to talk to you in the first fucking place. Like, if you're yeah, or rat hominins, pointing gun because this is America. America, fuck yeah. Coming again to save motherfucking day, yeah. Alright. LeBarimer says, and they wonder why half of Gen Z is on drugs and the other half is suicidal. Hey! Be fair! That's like a Venn diagram. It's not like two separate groups. Valor, exclamation point. Yeah. Yeah, I just hate. I hate the system. I hate the way it enslaves us and then gets us to paint our chains gold. You know? Hey, my chains are prettier than your chains. So that means I'm freer. No, you're not, bitch. You ain't free. You're just a glossier type of chain. You know, this ain't that's the reason, by the way. I'm not going to say who it is, but I know you were party to that conversation, Rad. And just to be clear, that's why I went off about the free market bullshit the other day. Because holy fucking shit is this not a free market. And I want freedom. So the alternative to a free market, the alternative to that free market, is an unfree market. That's the alternative to free is unfree. So if this is free and this is bad, then the alternative is unfree. So if I want freedom and people are using the words free market to describe something that isn't free, the consequence of that rhetoric being misapplied are going to be the gradual drawdown of like what little freedom we have left in the name of better futures or whatever. It sucks. It's never helpful. It never works for anyone's benefit but the very wealthy who are at the actual helm and controlling the actual structures. So when people say free market about this market, they are serving capital because there is nothing free about this market. And they either already know that and want you to think it's free so that you can continue to work for them and enable their systems, or they don't know that and they are unwitting accomplices of the system by saying that this is a free market, and therefore the alternative is controlled markets, and that means that we need less freedom in order to solve the problem. That doesn't help. So I have a very specific and the only accurate definition of free market, and that's why I give that much of a shit and why I went off for like literally hours the other day in that chat. Especially since, you know, this motherfucker consistently just forgets what I said or conveniently leaves shit out when he argues with me. So it's like exhausting, and it's exhausting to be consistently misrepresented in this way, and I just fucking hate it. Don't call it a free market if it's not a free market. If it's not free, the solution is more freedom, not less. Taking the power back away from these motherfuckers, not giving more of it to them and saying, please be benevolent with it this time and give us a better version of markets, a version that's less free market because free markets are bad. Like, no, free markets are great. This just isn't a free market and never was. This is state capitalism trending toward fascism. It's not a free fucking market. Anyway. Jester says, haha, this is cheering me up. Good to hear. LeBarimer, however, you could just eat chili dogs and run really fast. Yes. And honestly, I shouldn't have spent hours. That was like pearls before swine with that shit. Like, I should have just made content. If I had just used all the time that I've used to argue with that motherfucker about various things to just make a comprehensive video he would refuse to watch about this shit, I would have made those videos. I waste so much time just arguing with people who don't and won't fucking get it. It's a flaw of mine. I'm very easily baited into these fucking bullshit conversations. I need to stop that shit if I'm gonna get anything done ever. Rad hominem. It can't be the environment that's breaking the kids. It has to be the music. Fucking Hawthorne Heights and shit. Right? Yeah. Liberimer, that will solve several problems. Rad says, DuPont would never harm us or sign government contracts that actually cause wars. Yeah, and Texaco wouldn't genocide a whole tribe and then corporate capture lawyers so that when they're bought by Chevron, they can get away with one of the greatest industrial genocides in history. They would never do that. Oh, wait, they fucking did. And that's not what a free market looks like. And neither is Pinochet or any of the other great examples I could bring up. It fucking sucks that this is where we're at. That I even have to explain this shit. Jester says, I want a chili dog. I'm gonna go. I'll maybe come back later. Bye-bye, y'all. Be well. And honestly, let me see where we're at here in terms of time. I'm gonna call it in like 4 minutes. Because I got this physical training to do. I'm gonna get like actual pay for this, so gonna make that worth it. And that's why I ate the fucking protein shit on the stream here, because like I'm gonna be involved in the actual workout and doing full demonstrations on how to do everything. So like that's my style. In terms of leadership, I would, if I'm gonna lead a workout regimen or whatever, I'm gonna like actually prove that I know how to do it, instead of, you know, being one of those fuckers who just says, here's a diagram, motherfucker, fucking do the diagram. So, Liberimer, remember that time they overthrew the government of Iran over oil revenue? Yeah, free market! Yeah, it's exactly like that. You can just point to anything this market fucking does and know it's not goddamn free, motherfucker. Rad hominem. If there's 4 minutes left, let me say JSOC may very well be moving into recent events en masse. Keep an eye out because the rules of engagement might get really fucking hot. Yeah! And you know, that's one of the things, is that, so, if you look at the interplay between these two conflicts, the Ukraine shit and this other shit, they have way too many similarities. And the fact that they're happening in the same region at the same time as China tensions are heating up, they really want to stage World War fucking 3. They really want it. And they want a theater in fucking Mexico this time, which is why they're scaring you with fentanyl and claiming we need a wall and saying that, you know, and I know somebody who is helping build a base in Peru. I know people in the MIC, and one of them is helping build a base in Peru. The military of the United States fucking government wants a base in Peru. I wonder why! It couldn't be because the military-industrial complex is ramping up for a pre-planned war so that they can racket their tensions and bullshit, and it couldn't be that Smedley Butler was right. It couldn't be that war is a racket designed for profit and power and the expansion of the state capitalist imperial empire. Woo! No, couldn't be a hegemonic move in order to establish more regional footholds and slap certain countries and maybe, you know, BRICS back into line. Couldn't be! It has to be a totally organic thing where terrible people are doing terrible things and America's gotta come in and fuck them up. Yeah! I'm so sure. The saber rattling is nauseating. And fuck the Israeli government as well. Like, every time this kind of shit comes up, I can just come up with a battering ram of stuff that their government is corrupt with and helping the US government be corrupt with. And it's like, if this is your representative, if this is the reason we have to have the military-industrial complex and massive wars and tons of military spending, then fuck it. But that's, you know, not the motive of these people. They're not thinking in terms of, like, what's good for the common person. They're thinking, how do I maintain the military-industrial complex in a global state capitalist series of trade routes? They don't give a shit. So, the fact that a bunch of poor people are going to die and be enslaved and be worse off in terms of freedom and have to be controlled in ever greater ways at home because you got to stamp out that dissent if you're going to have cohesion for a military fucking society. You know, like, the fact that it's so bad for the common person, they're like, good, there are too many of you anyway, and the more we keep you in line, the less likely you are to actually overthrow our system. So we'll just make you poor on purpose and fuck your prospects. And if you want upward mobility, we'll stage the occasional world conflict so that we can have enough profit at the end of it that there's another baby boomer generation that can, like, you know, do what we say in exchange for, like, the bennies after wars. Like, that's what they really want. They want another baby boom. Like, oh, the population's plateauing, we're getting decline and blah, blah, blah. You know, but we've also been ramping up overpopulation, like, rhetoric for a long time. So here's our way of like dealing with both problems at once and having a whole new generation of obedient serfs. We'll just make a military generation, and then when that military generation serves us in combat, they'll teach their kids that it was acceptable for certain reasons, and that'll be the new culture. You know? So accept the military and intelligence industrial complex, and accept the prison industrial complex and the medical industrial complex and so many other fucking industrial complexes. That's the society you deserve. Fuck. Rad Hominem says, issue out wives to the enlisted. The magical killing circle will complete itself. Basically, just finish the ritual. Make mandatory banging. Anyway. Alright. Yeah, I think that was a relatively good place to wrap it up. Everybody, stay healthy out there. Smash the fucking state.